You could be way ahead of yourself and the masses if you choose. This is More Than Muscle. Today we're actually going to talk about something so unique and something that I absolutely love every year, because this is the opportunity at this time of the year. It's called separation season. And so we're going to talk about this season because every year there's like this point where there's about 3 months, not even 3 months. I would say probably even closer to about 8 to 10 weeks where everyone starts to get chaotic, comfortable, and they start to just like fall completely away from their goals. So this is why this is so important. Now, separation season is essentially made for those who are committed to their goal, want to stay on track, want to lock in, and they get way ahead of the masses. The masses kind of fall and slip away a little bit. A little extra alcohol here and there, a few extra sweets here and there, late nights, hanging out with friends, got to go to this event, got to go there. You know, I'll skip the gym. I won't eat well. I'll start again next week. Then I'll start again January the 1st. That is exactly the two directions that you'll find. And this is what I love about this season. This is where I think I honestly do separate myself, because when I found out about this season and when I learned about it, I was like, what is it that's so different? Now, in the past, we actually used to do our main season was actually over Christmas, which was very rare because most of the time whenever you play a sport, you're playing it during the year. However, with the league that I was playing in, it was towards the end of the year, which made it kind of hard because, you know, while everyone else is starting to talk about like the holidays they're going to go on and all of these events they're going to go to, I started to actually lock in harder on training. Like the day before Christmas, you had to eat really well because you may have a game on Christmas Day. You can't be going out and doing like fun stuff like everyone else. You have to be a little bit more switched on. Now, the way that I see it is I apply that athlete mindset into business, and then I apply the athlete mindset into my goals. Then I apply the athlete mindset into the separation that I want to have for myself. So how can you do this for yourself? So if you have a goal and you've been working at this goal, let's say you've been spending all of 2025 on this goal, and you get to this point where your environment starts to test you, right? The temptations, the events, all this stuff starts to test you. You have to then make a choice. And in that choice, you're going to decide, am I going to stick to my plan, or am I going to go with the mood, right? Am I going to stick to the goals that I have, or am I going to go with the pressure? What are you going to do? Because ultimately that's all this is. It's just a series of decisions that you have to make. And so I'd say this because so often people feel bad for missing out. But what exactly are you missing out on? The shitty nights where people are just acting stupid, and then it's all judgment and opinions, and it's just basically a bunch of people that have zero idea of who they are, what they're aiming for, no purpose, and honestly just talking a bunch of shit. Let's be real. Are you going to go and hang around that person and that group, or are you going to stay locked in, feel good about yourself that you kept promises to yourself, stay doing what you want to do, and then surround yourself with people that are like-minded? And that's the key difference. Surround yourself with people that are like, I want to stick to my goals too. Let's do this instead, versus the quick fix, versus the vices, right? At the end of the day, it's just a matter of vices versus virtues. So which one matters more to you? And so when you're going through this season, you have to understand that you could be way ahead of yourself and the masses if you choose. So the more that you actually commit to yourself, the more that you commit to your goals, the more that you commit to your discipline, the stronger you're going to become. You're going to pattern that thinking and make that pattern even better than it was before. And guess what? You'll have the results. And then the results will speak. So what's going to happen is you're going to show up on a daily. You're going to show up and do all the things that you said you were going to do. And then what's going to happen over the course of time is you're going to start to reveal your results. And then everyone's going to ask you, what did you do to get these results? And all you're going to do is turn around and say, well, you didn't. That's what you're going to do. Because most of the time, people will not sacrifice. They will not compromise. Right? They will just do all these things that are basically conforming. And the more that you conform to the comforts of yourself, right, or people around you, the worse that you're going to be. And so I'm going to encourage you to start looking at the rest of 2025. You maybe have 8 to 10 weeks left, if that. And in that time, imagine how much further you could be. And so you're going to take this as a way to light a fire under your butt and actually do something different. Don't coast. Don't put your foot off the gas. Instead, actually put that gas all the way in and down and do something. Because it's in this time that you can really separate yourself. You can separate yourself from last year on who you were 12 months ago. You can separate yourself from who you were 6 months ago. You can also separate yourself from all of the negative habits that you have or have had, and you can really propel yourself forward. Like I said, it's always going to come down to a choice. And if you don't make the choice and you don't choose to stay on track and you don't choose to actually commit yourself and stay dedicated, then by consequence, you're going to have to start again in January anyway. So really, you're either going to do it now or you're going to do it later. You're not really going to have much choice, because eventually it's going to be a consequence. And the consequences that you're going to stack over the course of time is either going to be you have further to go now because you didn't stick to your plan, or you're going to have less of a distance to go to actually get to where you want. Isn't that amazing that you have that choice? So a lot of the time people want to give in, and I can't stress to you how many people give in to the temptations. And these temptations are very rarely worth it. It wasn't worth it to please that person. It's not going to be worth it to drink that drink or to act that way or to stay up late or to skip that gym or to eat poorly. It's never really worth it. You don't turn around after a night out and be like, that was the best thing ever. Even though I feel like shit, it was worth it. I highly doubt it. And that's where people get suffered and suckered into that, right? They really, really put themselves through that, all because of what? Because you wanted to kind of like fit in with the crowd. You didn't want people to say shit about, the fact that you're committed to your goals. That's why. Because you feel uncomfortable calling people around you out for saying, hey, don't give me shit about sticking to my goals. Don't do that, right? Just because you can't, that doesn't mean that you have to pour that shit out onto me. That's where you are not around the right people. And you don't want to know what the worst part is? Your family is probably going to be the people that say that. Your family is going to be the one that says, well, come on, live a little. Oh my gosh, you're not even fun anymore. Like all you want to do is just like be healthy, like just have some fun. Those are the people that you're going to have saying shit in your ear. Isn't that the worst thing ever? That this is meant to be the family that support you. This is meant to be the closest people in your corner that are meant to be cheering for you. Isn't it ironic that the people closest to us have the worst thing to say about what we want for ourselves? That's why sometimes the people closest to you, their opinions matter the least, right? It's usually people that you don't know that are clapping for you. I can't tell you how many people support me and my goals versus people that know me and they don't support my goals. They have a lot to say about my goals, all because it doesn't involve them. And that is exactly why people say shit. Because if your goals do not involve them, if your goals mean that you have to go against what they're doing in their behavior, you are going to actually make them feel like shit about themselves. Why would anyone want that, right? And I say that in a very authentic and genuine fact because it is. I've experienced it myself. Other people have experienced it themselves. It really is the way that it is. So the best thing that you can do is stick to your plan, stand your ground, and speak up about what you want. Right? Don't sit there and conform. Don't sit there and feel bad about what you're doing for yourself because that doesn't make sense. You're trying to work on yourself, right? You're trying to make yourself the best version of you. Why is that not accepted, right? Why is it that it's accepted for us to take that drink and eat that meal and act so stupid, but as soon as we want to stick to our goals and our plan, well, I have something to say about that. Where does that judgment come from? Imagine a world, right? Let's just imagine a world where eating healthy, sticking to your goals, and committing to yourself was considered normal versus the person that wants to pick up the drink, stay up late, and act like an idiot. How about we start thinking about it in that manner? And I say this to be as real as I possibly can because I think that there is a big difference into what is inspiring and what actually helps people in this world, what actually adds to the greater good. I have never seen someone that is under the influence inspire someone. Never. And I don't think I ever will. I've never seen someone acting out late at night at an event inspiring anyone. And I'm sure you haven't either. It never goes well. The best thing that you can do is stick to your goals, whatever they are, whatever that looks like. That's on you. And I'm going to encourage you and I'm going to empower you to do that. Because if you do not empower yourself, you will be empowered by others. They will decide for you. So this is where it comes down to you and your choice and your thinking and your actions and your decisions. You've got to make them. And you have to stand up and speak up to do that. right? It's going to be scary because it's just meant to be scary. But guess what? It's always worth it. You will never look back and go, I kind of regret taking care of myself. That's never going to happen. The more that you look back, you're going to be like, I'm so glad that I cared about me and I did what was right for me versus anyone else. That's what you got to focus on. That's what's going to help you stay the course and actually consider what you need to do. So just remember, guys, everything that you want is on the other side of fear. So make a move and take action because you're one decision away from a completely different life.